a wonderful person. I might have not have always been the best daughter, but she was always there for me.
An exclusive interview with the family of the woman murdered by a former state trooper in Phillipsburg coming up.
And reporter Zach Magnotta sits down with Penn State President Rodney Erickson to talk about his legacy and the search for his replacement. The Center County Report starts now. Welcome to the Center County Report. I'm Nick Formica.
And I'm Joanna Rojas. A community will come together at a vigil tonight to honor the woman killed in a murder-suicide in Phillipsburg last week. Reporter Anita O sat down with the victim's family to hear their message of hope.
Just a wonderful person.
She was always happy and smiley, and she always cared for others more than herself.
Tracy Ann Raymond was killed last week here at County Market when her estranged husband, former state trooper Mark Miscavige, shot her and then himself just days after she filed for divorce. Today, her family celebrates her strength.
For so long, I don't think she believed she was strong enough. But she was. My last email from her last week, I asked her how she was, and she said, "I will be okay because I did it. I am free, and I'm happy."
But while the Raymond family is hurting, they don't blame anyone for this tragedy.
Mark was not well, and they didn't mandate that he get help. And I think if they would have mandated that he seek psychiatric help and follow up on it, that perhaps this wouldn't have happened.
They tell Tracy's story in hopes it will inspire other abuse victims to speak up. And they want a new law requiring mental evaluations and more jail time for abusers.
We would love to see it called the Tracy Ann's Law. And we would like to have that law named after her so that she can continue on through this law.
The family says they're touched by the outpouring of support by the community and are now committed to keeping Tracy's memory alive by helping others.
If just one person tomorrow night or the next day finds their voice and is able to get the support that they need, then it wasn't in vain.
In Phillipsburg, I'm Anita O for the Center County Report.
Family and friends will hold that candlelight vigil for Tracy Raymond tonight at 8 on Front Street in Phillipsburg. The public is welcome to attend. More than 300 of Tracy's favorite Keep Calm and Flower On t-shirts have been sold to honor her memory.
Local skiers will have one last chance to get out onto the slopes this weekend at Tussey Mountain before temperatures start to warm up. Let's head over to meteorologist Heather Waldman for a preview of this week's weather.
Thanks very much, Nick. And you know, it might actually be tough for Tussey Mountain to keep enough snow on the slopes for those skiers. As you mentioned, temperatures warming up over the next few days. It's been long awaited, and it's certainly well deserved, as Old Man Winter has stuck around longer than anybody would really like him to. But here's how the pattern is going to change over the next few days. This purple line here represents the jet stream, and what's going to happen is a ridge is going to form over the eastern half of the country, and that's going to allow plenty of warm air to start to pour in from the western part of the country. And again, warm air temperatures well above average. I'll tell you just how warm we could get coming up in the 7-day, along with a chance for some showers.
Center County's new prison will open in the next few weeks, and we just got a tour inside the facility. The new $200 million prison in Benner Township was opened this week for tours. It's on the property of Rockview State Prison and will house 2,000 inmates in 10 housing blocks. SCI Benner is said to be one of the most secure general prisons in the country, and officials are expecting it to be fully running by July 1st. A Penn State student charged in a child pornography investigation has waived his preliminary hearing. 19-year-old Ian Schulman turned himself into authorities last week and was in court on Wednesday. He's charged with 53 counts of sexual abuse of children, including possessing child pornography. Schulman's lawyer, Joe Amendola, says they waived the hearing because of a lack of evidence.
Penn State President Rodney Erickson will retire next year as the university hires a new leader. Reporter Zach Magnotta had a chance to sit down with Erickson for a one-on-one interview yesterday on a number of topics.
I sat down with Penn State President Rodney Erickson this week, who is retiring in 2014 after serving his time as the 17th president. However, Erickson told me his job at Penn State is far from over.
There are still many things that need to be done during the remainder of my term.
He says one of his missions is to keep tuition costs down, especially in tough economic times.
All of us in higher education need to find ways that we can keep higher education affordable here at Penn State and elsewhere for the next generation of students.
Erickson explains that things are looking up for higher education.
And we're really hopeful that as the economy improves and tax revenues recover from the 2008 level, that we'll be able to rebuild the ground that we've lost over the last several years.
In terms of his successor, he's looking for strong leadership to further the university's growth.
I think one of the essential qualities will be a leader with vision for how to adapt, how to change to meet the new realities that we face.
Dr. Erickson emphasizes the idea that a new president should excel in education to continue Penn State's tradition of academic achievement.
Yeah, I feel very strongly that who's ever in that position needs to have strong academic values, whether they come from the academy or not. I think that's absolutely core.
One of his favorite parts of the job is getting to know the students.
Among the things that I value most over the years are my students, who I've had a chance to work with, both undergraduate and graduate students.
In University Park, I'm Zach Magnotta for the Centre County Report.
On next week's Centre County Report, President Erickson talks more about the search for Penn State's new leader. 11 former Penn State football players are calling on alumni to remove a fellow former player from the Board of Trustees in the upcoming alumni election. Former linebacker Paul Suey admits he made a, quote, stunningly unpopular decision when he voted with the board to fire Joe Paterno. Now Franco Harris and a group of former players said in a letter dated last week, the board tarnished Paterno's legacy and reputation, the football program, and current coaches and players. They want Suey voted out. He's one of 39 candidates going for one of the 3 open seats on the board.
Last week, you heard borough residents' concerns on plans for a natural gas distribution pipe to run through the Highlands neighborhood of State College. This week, more than 100 people came out to the borough council meeting to hear presentations and voice their opinions one last time. After more than 4 hours, the council unanimously passed a vote opposing the new pipeline route and asked for permit denial and negotiation between Penn State, Columbia Gas, and the borough. Both Penn State and Columbia Gas talked about safety measures, but many council members were not satisfied.
So am I to understand that we can stop a route under a street for technical reasons, but we can't stop a route under a street if the construction there poses a dire danger to the health and safety of the residents?
The final part in the approval process is for the borough to vote on whether to approve the permit for Columbia Gas to begin construction. Coming up on the Centre County Report, find out what the local police have to say about car break-ins around our area.
And many bridges around the county are defected. Find out what the problem is when the Centre County Report returns. There are more than 4,000 structurally deficient bridges in Pennsylvania, according to PennDOT, the most of any state in the country. 60 of those bridges are right here in Centre County. Construction underway now is causing more than 2,000 motorists a day to change their route. Construction on Hauserville and Marsh Creek Road bridges are being overseen by PennDOT Inspector Aaron Murniak, who says they are concentrating on bridges with asphalt decks first.
The bituminous decks make them structurally deficient. So the upgrading them to concrete, they'll come off the statewide structurally deficient list.
Contractors expect to finish construction by the end of June, and the cost to upgrade the 3 bridges is more than $1.1 million.
A recent string of car break-ins in our area may cause you to think twice about what you leave in your car. Reporter Ashley Moore finds out what drivers are doing that's putting them at risk.
A string of car burglaries in State College are leaving locals concerned about the valuable items inside their vehicles.
It's a bummer.
There was a reported 30 car break-ins just this past month alone. Burglars are targeting cars in neighborhoods like Green Tree, Daleview, and Harris Acres. Burglaries tend to happen at night and mostly in unlit areas. Officials say they're most common when expensive objects are out in the open.
Burglars often break in search for items such as GPSs, cell phones, or loose cash lying around. Police suggest that you lock up all valuable items or take them with you before leaving your vehicle.
Although most vehicles come installed with alarm systems, there are other ways to protect your car against theft. These may sound like common sense, but you'd be surprised how many cars we found around State College breaking these simple rules. Make sure you lock all your doors, store valuable items in your glove compartment or trunk, never leave any windows open or even cracked, and park in well-lit areas. Kelly Aston, State College police officer, says that these crimes arise from simple mistakes. I sat down with her to learn more about these ongoing crimes.
A lot of times these are crimes of opportunity. They are not forcibly entering vehicles. They're looking for vehicles that are unlocked. They're going from car to car. They're looking for small electronics, cash, change, things that are easily accessible, GPS units, things like that that they can, exchange at pawn shops or to other places for cash and to gain some money for themselves.
Her advice? More common sense. Think before you leave your car for the night. Reporting in State College, Ashley Moore, Center County Report.
So far, police have not identified any suspects in connection with the car break-ins.
Emotions were high at Penn State this week as Speaker John Michael Keyes relived the day he lost his daughter Emily in a shooting at Platte Canyon High School in Colorado. Now, nearly 7 years later, he's traveling across the nation and speaking out against gun violence in schools. He joined a panel of experts at Innovation Park to talk about preventing school violence in our area, so no parent has to go through what he did. When Emily's parents first heard of the shooting, they text messaged her saying, "Are you okay?" Her response, "I love you guys."
There were 7 heroes in that room and a coward with a gun. The awesome 6 are still with us. When we remember September 27th, it's the text message that Emily sent. I love you guys. It is our hope that that's the message you remember as well.
A panel of experts held a discussion about how to prevent violence. While the community, school, and family are all important factors, they say the key is preventative action like climate surveys and detecting mental health problems.
LifeLink serves the special education students of State College, and reporter Kelly Rule shows us how a special group of Penn State students make a difference in the program.
Penn State students use their free time in many different ways, but only a small group of them choose to spend it here.
So can you buy the apple? No. You're right, you can't.
LifeLink serves special education students in State College between the ages of 18 and 21.
To be honest, I first got involved with LifeLink because it was offered as extra credit for a class, and I was required to do 50 hours. As soon as I came in here, everyone was just so welcome to me, and I found I did way more than the minimum of 50 hours. And I just fell in love with coming here.
After following Kristen around for a week, I saw firsthand what this program is all about.
So on Mondays, we take 4 of the students to their apartment, and we go through a cooking class where ahead of time we plan a meal, make the list of ingredients that we're going to bring. Everyone has specific duties.
In this week's class, students chose chili and cornbread. They split up the cooking, cleaning, and table setting. But the cooking class is only the beginning of Kristen's week.
On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I come here and I take Alec to a natural disasters class. And during class, I help further explain the lessons to him.
For program coordinator Maria Eukelson, this interaction between college students and LifeLink students is her favorite part of working for LifeLink.
It's priceless. It's wonderful because they're just all typical college students, and our students just love it. They just love it.
And for many LifeLink students, it's their favorite part too.
And I think they are a really good influence on me. And it makes my day, and it makes me a better person.
In State College, I'm Kelly Rule, Center County Report.
That's just part of Kelly's report. To view the entire story, visit our website at centercountyreport.com.
You are taking a live look right now at downtown State College. This is the intersection of Allen and Beaver. You see bright skies out there, plenty of sunshine this morning with high pressure in control. Temperatures have responded to that quickly as well. We're already in the upper 40s. we're only going up from there over the next couple of days. As I said earlier, long awaited and well-deserved. We're finally warming up. The only caveat is a few showers could be nestled in there over the next couple of days, but as they say, those April showers, well, we need them to bring the May flowers as well. As we head throughout the second half of the week, temperatures will creep back down towards normal, but again, anything compared to what we've seen over the last few weeks is certainly a welcome change. Here's a look at the radar. Over the last few hours, you see a nice batch of rain moving just to the southeast of Pennsylvania. The clouds behind it are cut off fairly sharply, so we woke up to a bright and sunny day here across central Pennsylvania, but folks in southeastern Pennsylvania saw a little bit of the showers. Those have since moved off over the last couple of hours, and before the day is said and done here in Centre County, we'll top out in the low to mid 50s. As we head throughout the day. Lows overnight tonight, again, back below the freezing point, but that's, again, not too far from where we should be. So temperatures finally right around the average for this time of the year. And as we head throughout the week, they could turn above average. And it's all going to depend on where this, what we call a stationary front, sets up. The farther north this moves, the more this warm air from the south is going to be able to move north. And that's going to mean that we'll warm up as well. And if this stays further to our south, we'll see a little bit of chillier and wetter conditions. But again, still warmer than what we've seen last week and still certainly warmer than what we're used to for this time of the year. Here's how things look in the 7-day forecast as you see this weekend. Getting into the mid-50s by Sunday with the most sunshine possible for the day on Saturday. A few showers moving in for the day on Monday, but then look at that as we head through the middle of the week, topping out in the mid-60s. Again, certainly a very welcome warm-up. And then temperatures start to crawl back towards the average as we head into Friday. But Nick, I know we were talking about this last week. You can finally break out those shorts and t-shirts.
Oh, I'm just glad it's here to stay a little while.
Thanks for bringing that good news, Heather.
Oh, absolutely.
Now let's see what's going on in sports with Ashley.
Coming up in sports, after knocking off number 2 Florida, Penn State women's lacrosse heads north to try to knock off another ranked team. And the undefeated men's gymnastics team is preparing in hopes of earning their 3rd Big Ten championship. We visit with them coming up next. Penn State football made its first decision on football recruit Zaid Isa, who was charged with multiple felonies last month for passing counterfeit money at local fast food restaurants. Coach Bill O'Brien says he will not be on the team this coming fall. O'Brien told the Associated Press, quote, his next move will be determined by him. He will not be here next year to play football at Penn State, but eventually he could end up at Penn State down the road. Isa's preliminary hearing is scheduled for May 9th in Dauphin County District Court. The Penn State women's lacrosse team is in the heat of a title chase as they take on the number 3 Northwestern Wildcats tonight after their shocking upset of number 2 Florida this week. I caught up with the 7th-ranked Nittany Lions this week before their trip to Illinois. After upsetting number 2 Florida last Saturday, the Penn State women's lacrosse team began focusing on their pivotal matchup against another top 5 opponent and 2-time defending national champion Northwestern. Penn State, currently ranked number 7, closed out March with a big statement win against Florida, and head coach Missy Doherty says they are preparing both physically and mentally for a strong Northwestern team.
We are really happy with how the season has progressed. You know, we just have goals every practice to get a little bit better, and you know, having a win like Florida is great, but we have another huge opponent on Friday with Northwestern, so we have to refocus and realize if we're going to continue to be successful, we have to work with a similar effort.
And although beating powerhouse Florida for the first time since the Gators joined the NCAA in 2010 was a huge accomplishment, senior Katie Guy says the team has moved on and is focused on Northwestern.
We're definitely confident. We've been confident all year. I think coming off a win like Florida, only increases our confidence, but we're Northwestern's a totally different team again. So, we're just going into it confident but not cocky by any means.
Northwestern is 3-0 in the conference and 9-1 overall. They have not dropped a contest in the last 6 weeks. The Wildcats also come into the game riding a much larger streak, a 14-game winning streak over the Nittany Lions dating back to April 19th, 2003. After Northwestern, the Nittany Lions wrap up their conference regular season schedule with 2 games against Ohio State and Johns Hopkins. The Penn State men's gymnastics team has finished its regular season schedule and is now looking ahead to the postseason. Our own Nick Formica went out to see how the team is preparing for the upcoming championships.
The program here, it's got an incredible tradition, got an incredible legacy, and we're just trying to leave our name on it.
After going undefeated in the regular season, the Penn State men's gymnastics team is looking forward to competing for their third Big Ten championship since entering the conference in 1991. Penn State is not only the top team in the Big Ten, they also hold the title of #1 team in the country as they head into postseason competition.
When you look at the Big Ten top to bottom, it's by far the most prestigious gymnastics conference in the country. You know, we go toe-to-toe with these teams every weekend.
The Big Ten, as well as being the most prestigious conference in the country, is also widely considered the most talented, with 7 of the top 10 nationally ranked teams coming from the Big Ten. Penn State gymnast and Clearfield native Scott Rosenthal says the intense preparations for the postseason started months before this current season even began.
That started in the summer, basically. I mean, we came in every day from the beginning of last season thinking about what we needed to do and how every day what skills it would take and what needed to change to win a championship.
But Jepson says not everything has come easily for the team this season.
A lot of other things have come into play, you know, injuries off and on throughout the season on other guys, but we've weathered the storm for the most part and have been able to post some pretty solid numbers.
Despite a win, the team underperformed in their last trip to Minneapolis, but Rocky is optimistic about making the trip back to the Twin Cities this weekend in an attempt to claim the Big Ten title.
We've kind of made some adjustments in the gym, and we've made some adjustments on our mindset, and I'm confident. I think all the other guys are confident. We're going to go out and, you know, do what we've been doing.
Nick Formica, Center County Report.
Wow, Nick, those practices literally look amazing.
Yeah, I got the chance to attend one. Incredible intensity.
That's awesome. And speaking of gymnastics, the women's team is headed over to Oklahoma tomorrow for the NCAA Regionals.
Well, we're wishing them all lots of good luck. Thanks, Ashley. We'll have more in a minute.
Many forms of transportation are available in State College, and now residents have another option. Soon to be open campus scooters will offer motor scooter rentals to Penn State students and other community residents. Owners of the new store say the chaos of buses and cars in State College motivated them to bring something new to the community.
They're versatile. You're able to take them a lot of places you wouldn't be able to take cars. They take up less space related to parking, less gas mileage, so they're still, you know, efficient, and they're a greener option than cars.
Campus scooters will have its opening tomorrow.
Ready for some exercise for a good cause? The Greater Center County chapter of Habitat for Humanity will host its 3rd annual House Walk on Sunday, April 14th at Penn State's Medler Field. The 5K will raise money for low-income families that don't have a home of their own. Habitat will help provide the families with affordable housing and has helped 58 families over the last 29 years. Registration is $20 for adults, $10 for students, and $60 for a family. The walk kicks off at 7 p.m. That's all for today's Center County Report. For more news, go to our website, centercountyreport.com.
You can also follow us for breaking news on Twitter at Center County REP and check us out on Facebook as well. Have a great weekend. We leave you with a live look at Allen Street in downtown State College.